I have actually now two presenters, I think, and also two talks which all deal with a very important topic which will hit every one of us, also as a citizen of the European Union. And that abbreviation, of course, is not Gaia-X Digital Clearinghouse yet, but it's eIDAS. And the next two discussions or talks and presentations will deal how to reconcile a Gaia-X Trust Framework and eIDAS. So I'm delighted to introduce, okay. So much about interoperability. That's a very long interoperability line. Okay, yeah, sure, yeah. 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 So that's a very easy communication protocol, face to face, you know. So is that you? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I can't manage your screen. Okay, perfect. Marco, thanks a lot, CTO from Dynamo. Maybe you introduce yourself a little bit, and is that okay, perfect. Yep.
Okay, thank you. It's complicated. Sorry, I complicated myself, my life in this way. I'm the CTO of Dynamo. We have, or we are an implementation. We're implementing the trust framework for a specific purpose, which is the Dynamo platform. Together with me, there is the guy who is collaborating with me in creating such an implementation, which is Maharshi. And he will be entering in the discussion just a later on. What is Dynamo? Dynamo is an end-to-end marketplace. It means that starts from the onboarding side and gets to the provisioning of the resource. That's the aim of Dynamo. Everything is based on a real, I would say, use of the trust framework, because if you cannot do any step forward if you don't get the certification or the proper certified data on each of the steps. It's, I think, a true marketplace, because as I was telling you, we start from the onboarding of participant and we get until the end user. So the customer or customer can buy and can get resources using this marketplace. We built up something on top of the existing cloud and digital providers in order to make the provision of the resources. The way we work, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, there are a couple of rules that are from the participant side, which are our direct customer, which are the vendors and the resellers. Vendors are the ones who feed the marketplace. The resellers are the ones that use the marketplace in order to enrich their own catalog. The third role is the end user. For Dynamo, it's a completely anonymous entity, and is the one that uses the catalog that the reseller has created for its own purposes in order to enrich or to enlarge its own offer toward its own customers. And then, for sure, there is the platform itself. And so everything has been managed by the platform. We are creating our own ecosystem, and we are, let's say, stating all the things that are declared by the participant using the Gaia-X Trust Framework. Why we decide to use this in order to get the trustability among the participant. And as you can see, there are three main flows in Dynamo. The first one is the onboarding of the participant. The second one is the use by vendors. The vendors are defining which are the services they want to provide to the ecosystem, and we are getting the credential also for that part. And then there is a third flow that which is the one that is followed by the end user customer. We decide not to use I'd say the common used way, which is leveraging certificates in order to get the credential. but we decided to use something that could go more toward the customer way of thinking, in the sense that we don't want to own anything about our customers. And so we decided to use an eIDAS compliant sign in order to generate all the credentials. That's a slightly different way, as we have already seen in other implementation, because we don't ask the user but to sign documents using his third-party manager. So we don't know which is the certificate. We don't have private keys. We don't have certificate in our premises. Everything is managed by someone else. According to what I explained to you, there are, you see here, on the seller side, the end user that enters, and we are provisioning data coming from the vendor, data and services and resources from the services. The main blocks of the architecture are three, I would say. The first one is the core, which is the marketplace. Then there are two additional parts which are ancillary to the first one. The first one is the Gaia-X, I would say the Gaia-X related module, and the other one is the orchestrator one. The first one is the module that has it's aimed to get the credential and the proper instantiation of the documents that are needed in order to set up the trust framework. On the other side, we got the orchestrator, which allows the user not only to buy and to put in a cart, it's the resources that he wants, coming from different vendors, and so getting a real federated approach, but also in order to provision it in an automatic way. Going just a little bit deeper into the digital, the Dynamo Gaia-X module, we are leveraging two different clearing houses. The first one, it's according to the Tegus that we are using since we started before it was live, the LOAR. We were needing some additional information, so an extension of the information provided by the standard service offering. And so we had the need to define a Dynamo digital clearinghouse that was only able, it's practically a clone of the Gaia-X clearinghouse, but accepting some educated, or say, adapt or fix the shapes that will allow us to collect the information that we need, that are needed also by our customer, in order to describe the services. And then, beside this, we use an actual digital clearinghouse. In this case, we are using the ones from Aruba, but we also tested the one from Delta DAO. So it's not a matter of what is the actual clearinghouse that we are using. I think that it's time for you to go just a little bit deep into this on those details, and then we will go to a demo, which will be, I think, easy to understand how easy it is to the user experience that we gave to our customers.
All right. Can we turn this on? Hello?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Marco. Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. This is Maharshi from SmartSense Solutions. And that was a very good introduction of Dynamo, one of the lighthouse projects now of Gaia-X. Before we move towards this journey of eIDAS signing in production, I would like to take you through one of my still that was done in TechX Bilbao 2023. That was the time when we won the hackathon by presenting how Gaia-X was in 2023 ready for production. That was a POC that we did, and I was just showcasing that from horse cart days to the beautiful car that we see nowadays, this transition, okay, Gaia-X is in that phase. We are in the middle where Gaia-X is in evolution. So let's evolve with the Gaia-X. Okay, let's not question that this is not right, this is not wrong, but accept Gaia-X. It is there. It was available for production even at that time, and today also it is available. And Dynamo is one of the proofs, along with other Lighthouse projects. Yeah. So that just wanted to convey that at that time we did this, and today, being here, Dynamo being here, and other Lighthouse projects, it's only a validation that Gaia-X is there, guys. It's evolving with new version as well, which is also production ready. So let's start using it. Having said that, it brings me to the interesting journey of eIDAS to, from Let's Encrypt to eIDAS. So at that time, we used Let's Encrypt because, of course, we are from India. We can't own an eIDAS sign. Okay, so we just did it with Let's Encrypt. So what we did, Dynamo came to us that, okay, just like others, they told us that we want to implement Gaia-X standards. So we said, okay, we can do it. It's easy peasy for us. Yeah, we did it already. And we said, see, there's Let's Encrypt, there's the VC, it's available. But no, Dynamo would say, no, we can't accept that. We want to go production. Yeah, this is not production, this is Let's Encrypt. It's just fooling people or just testing. That's not production, we can't go. We said, okay, no problem. Let's go with a private key signature. We said that you can send a private key in your system. We don't ask to pass it through API. Enter it in your system, sign it, and only the credential will be passed. But this guy here, as you can see, no, we need production. We can't send the credential in the system. We need to find a way, and that's where Aruba comes into the picture. So thanks to, of course, Aruba and Dynamo, that we were able to get an eIDAS signature, using which we can sign the credential. So that is the third stage. Yeah, so after March 2025, it was actually production ready. Yeah, we signed it with an eIDAS sign. So no need to pass any private key, not in your local system, not in API. You don't have to take care of anything. You just enter an OTP, of course, through Aruba PEC. There is a tool that we used. You just have to enter the OTP, and it will be signed on production with eIDAS credential. And then, as you can see the smile on his face, it was a production ready, okay?
Yeah.
So Dynamo is live. All these credentials signed with eIDAS. It's ready, it's live. So that was the journey where we moved from Let's Encrypt to eIDAS. And these are the different phases where we are signing using eIDAS. So you can see at the time of onboarding there, then there will be a document signing as well using eIDAS signature. Then there is an MPC, that is Membership Party Credential of Dynamo, which is also being signed by eIDAS. Again, when you create a service offering, even at that time, you have to sign it with eIDAS. So everything is eIDAS enabled, everything is on production. There it is, Dynamo, available for production, guys. And I think that would be it from my side.
Yeah, no, you get
okay. Yeah. So I also wanted to mention that we are here not only to use or leverage Gaia-X, we are also here to contribute. So today also we are contributing with our skills in Hackathon. Even in 2023, we did participation for contribution. Even last year, it was the same. Today, we are doing a good contribution. So in these 3 years, we have gained a lot of knowledge of Gaia-X. Now we are planning to put that into a pot that if Gaia-X chooses to accept, they can put it in their website and everyone can access that knowledge. So no need to bother the CTO, CEO, or CEO, anyone. No need to use any Slack channels. They will be able to go through the website, use the chatbot. Only if certain very deep questions that the bot can't answer, then only you can bother the C guys. Yeah. So there are different contributions. As I mentioned, 2023, that was the first hackathon that we participated. We were even the winners. Then in 2024, even before that, in 2023, we did a workshop in Cologne to explain how these Gaia-X standards work. In 2024, we signing of credentials without giving the private key again, but not the solution that Dynamo accepted because we were doing it in local system. Okay. Then knowledge sharing workshop again in Madrid. Then we, along with XFSC, Christoph Lange and Paul, who are also participating in the hackathon this year. So we also did one more hack session with them, which was also again a winner. In 2025, we did some minor compliance credential format updates for supporting Gaia-X. And yeah, future, yes, that is a good thing. Since we are production ready, this is a need of Gaia-X. Okay, so we will of course be supporting, but if Gaia-X can take this part in more seriousness, so it would be really good. We need to have the revocation in place. Today it's just about 3 months expiry, but now we need to ensure that we extend it to a longer period. We have also attended the calls. We know that it's something that even community can support. So yes, we will take part in that. But even if Gaia-X as a lead can also put that in the limelight, then I think it would be really good. It's something a production-ready company needs, the revocation and renewal of the certificates. So that's the future that we are looking towards. And with that, I give to Mr. Marko Penovich. Thank you.
Oh, I don't need it. Thank you. And this is the platform, and it will be hard, I understand. Oh, come on. We are starting bad. Yeah, exactly. I try to speed up the things, but I don't. Okay. Simple login, nothing complicated here. And here I try to put some information which could be how it works. This is the onboarding phase. So during the onboarding, the participant has to provide a limited set of number of information, and from that limited set of information, we create the credential, the legal participant, if they've not already got one. Otherwise, we can use the legal participant that is existing, and we simply extend the legal participant validity, checking validity with the sign from the eIDAS sign. And once we have done that, so I'm trying to put some information as they are. Okay. Sorry. This is the longest part. Sorry for that, but this is the only information that we require from the participant. And okay, I can put this. Then in order to be valid, I need to upload the power of attorney. So the participant who is stating or is becoming part of Dynamo has to be legally and say responsible for that. Okay. And just I need to use a valid ID, otherwise it won't work. And this is because as you know, Gaia-X is checking its validity, but we are doing as well. Okay, this we can put okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. and that's it. Now, at least we succeed in getting the final step, which is I provide only my username and the domain of the sign. So this, yeah?
Do you look at the powers of attorney?
Yeah, I need, sorry?
Your lawyer reads them.
Yeah. Nevertheless, a eIDAS sign is something legally binding. So if you're stating something that is not true, you are responsible for that, not only toward Dynamo, but toward the law. So if you're stating that, for sure we have to check it, but you are stating something and you are signing and you are saying that you are in charge for stating that what you are saying right now. So it's not, we are, I would say, in the middle, but you are telling something untruthful. And we are stating that using your sign. That's why we decide to use the eIDAS sign, because it is not only useful for issuing a verifiable credential, legal participant, membership party credential, whatever it is, but also because you are going to use that also for agreement. We have a dematerialized flow here that I'm going to show. Sorry for the delay here. Now, I thought that could be working the pre-filled stuff, but it didn't work. And all the flow is managed in this way. No one has to sign anything outside of this, and everything is legally binding. This is the very important point. That's why we use the trust framework, because all the participants has to be sure that we are playing the same game. Yeah. Yeah. If you give me 2 minutes, 1 minute, I will show you, because I apologize for that, but there is as I was telling you, we try to streamline the process of onboarding of our participant. So streamlining meaning to ask for the participant the minimum amount of time to become participant and the minimum amount of effort in order, no, I stay here, thank you so much. No, it's just a matter of understanding what I have to. And so we collect only this kind of information, and you will see at the fourth step that we are requiring one additional step, which is the sovereignty one. So the participant has to tell us from where it is providing services. But this is mainly all the information that we require from the participant. From that point on, we have only to sign credential or agreements. That's why it took some time, because I need to collect the minimum required to go on. But I will show you why there is a power of attorney, because in the next step, which is not the legal participant, because the legal participant is a prerequisite in order to onboard Dynamo. So if you don't have that's why I was telling you, we are actually using the Gaia-X Trust Framework. We don't allow any participant to go on if he's not having the issues of the proper credential according to the Gaia-X Trust Framework. Yeah, sorry.
So I'm a little confused. eIDAS has two tracks. One is the qualified electronic signature, the other is the qualified web authentication. I don't know. So which one of the signatures do you use?
We use the signature that you can find, that you can buy from a track. But yes, what do you buy to sign electronically sign a document? If you're not a technician, if you are a businessman, what do you buy? You don't buy the certificate. You buy the remote signature, the service that is provided from a third party. In this case, is Aruba, that is giving you the access with a username, a domain. In this case,
I think we are
okay.
Because there are two different tracks in the eIDAS, and if you have the qualified electronic signature,
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes. That's why I was pinpointing this, because we try to stay on the business side more than on the complicated side.
Yeah, both are right now valid for the trust framework. So.
Yes, but we are not. We are thinking not on the trust framework side. We streamline the trust framework in order to be used by someone who doesn't know anything about the trust framework. So, as a businessman, what would you buy from a trust provider? the remote signature. Yeah? No? Now, okay, if I don't get a question, maybe you can, can tell me that.
It's fine.
Okay. So, this is my username. And this is the come on. I hope that it didn't get in timeout. No. No, I'm come on. No. Yeah, too much time in the.
Not optimized for workshops.
Sorry, I'll try to be the quickest that I can. I'm sorry. Yeah. I need something real. This is
Too realistic for the thing.
This is the real.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I understand.
okay.
Right.
Okay. Sorry for that. Okay. And then this is the legal participant and should be checked here. Those are the already provided information here, and this is the VAT ID that I entered before. But what I need to provide here are the okay plus.
Not that every time a fresh user can only access Dynamo. Even if you have your own eID created, if you have your LC created, even then Dynamo accepts. Currently we are showing the flow where you are not a legal participant already. But if you are, even then Dynamo can accept. There was already an option, yes and no. So we are going with the no option.
Here we're going through the flow that creates a new legal participant. But there was in top of the page the possibility to choose for an already existing one. In this case, at this stage, we only add, as I was telling you, the public key at the end of the existing legal participant. So we can add also the way we deal with the eIDAS sign to be accepted for the legal participant. And now we have created the legal participant. So we've got this, and it comes the answer to the question that you were posing before, because here at this stage there are a number of documents that has to be signed in order to get into the Dynamo ecosystem, and one of the
this agreement and that is dynamically composed regarding which part of services you are going to offer. So here's a part of SaaS, and then we share the document before the onboarding in order to give you the opportunity to discuss it with your legal team. Those are 13 documents, okay? But you have to sign with the power of attorney because you are legally binding your company, signing on behalf of your company.
Is it okay to, it's a workshop, so we can ask. In general, a power of attorney in the context of sovereignty doesn't feel good. If I give you power of attorney, you can sell my house.
no. Yeah.
What we are asking to you is to provide us a PDF that demonstrates that Mauro Brambilla has the power of attorney to sign on behalf of Dynamo, because
I got the delegation.
I got the delegation from the company itself. I don't have any, it's a public information. So
Yeah.
If I go to have so if
The proper institution that is registering. Okay.
state that Mauro Villa has or does not have any power of attorney for Dynamo. So it's the only thing that I'm asking to you. In the future, in the roadmap, we are going to have a direct interrogation of both registries in order to avoid to you to give us a PDF. So,
Essentially, like I'm 5 years old. What am I empowering you to do with my power?
there's nothing.
Nothing. You are stating
that you are legally entitled to sign something for the company. That's only. That's normally in the company registry, but they have not attached the company registry. It's unnecessary. It's just an intermediate step. Normally, you go to the registry, look it up. Is that person with the eIDAS ID even a director of the company? I mean, I can. You can look me up. I can sign on behalf of the Gaia-X ASPL without anyone else. But it's officially, go to the Belgium registry and look there. And that step has not been implemented yet, so they need the POA. That's the only,
Regarding the question you were asking to me at lunch, okay? Here you don't give us any wallet, any information related to your identity. Because you are signing with your own eIDAS signature, and that we are giving to you for free from Aruba. So we paid Aruba, and then we give to you the eIDAS signature that you can use here or whatever you want for a remote signature.
in Europe.
In Europe.
The other
one sentence,
Yeah,
with
the
a
last
short
sentence
view to
is,
the time.
Here we are signing also this agreement, so it's a valid in front of the law, this agreement. And the other steps are we generate the membership party credential. So this you enter the ecosystem once you have signed this agreement, and we generate also a verifiable credential for that part. And then there is you are enabled as a participant to behave as a vendor, so create or enter services inside the marketplace, or as a reseller to create your own catalog to show to your customers. That's
all the services you are going to publish into Dynamo will be signed again by eIDAS
in the same way.
Because you are declaring that are compliant to the minimum service requirement we are asking for and the T's and C's you are asking
Yeah, thanks a lot for that nice demonstration, the live demonstration, I should say, and the discussion. I liked it very much. We don't totally have a time problem. It just means that we will have to finish, to do a little bit longer after the coffee break, but we will still be on track for the networking dinner, so I keep that in mind. Thank you for that. And now we will have the second talk about eIDAS. Thanks a lot. I heard that, you have already changed that. Yeah, Franz is unfortunately ill. Thanks a lot. Please introduce yourself. We are very poised to see. I think, do you talk about monetization at all? I think in the abstract it was a little bit also about monetization. Yeah, how to make money with eIDAS. No, with data spaces. Please. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Yes, Franz, my colleague, is unfortunately not here for health reasons, so I have to make the presentation for him, but I think I can do it as well good as he has done. You can decide it afterwards. I want to talk about eIDAS within data spaces on another level, not within live demonstration, but within view into possibilities to monetize data spaces, and which is necessary to do this in many cases, and how you can do it. So we are talking about trust. This morning we had upstairs a definition of trust. I would add another definition for trust. Trust is a legal term. Trust is a legal term, and someone can give you trust if he is a qualified trust service provider, for example. So he makes can give you a signature, and with the signature you can also go to the court and have a discussion about contracts or sealed documents and so on. So trust is not something which is built of the story of see each other. It's also a legal term. eIDAS is made for electronic authentication and trust services. So you can and should use eIDAS if you want to have legal contracts, and in this case the trust services and authentication are the more important things you have done with eIDAS. eIDAS 2.0 is adding something, but it's not a completely new legislation. It's just an addition to the existing legislation, so you can say it's eIDAS without any number. In data spaces, the identity is a key role, but it's not mainly the key role, because if you're part of the data space with identifying yourself with your identity, you are part of the data space. You have done an onboarding. We've seen in a form. Then I'm able to do some things, but to share data and to monetize data, for example, it's necessary to have these IDs to sign smart contracts and so on, to have contracts which are reliable. And so we can say, okay, trust is bringing on us to transactions. Without trustworthy identities, we wouldn't be able to do transactions which are possibly in many use cases. If you think about the health sector, banking, or so on, there it is necessary to have sovereign ID, a state ID, which is provided to you by your legislation, and not an ID which is built off an SAP member number or such things, because these are not legal IDs and they are not working. But if you have a look at the healthcare sector, then you have to decide between two types of IDs. You have, on the one hand, an ID of a natural person. On the other hand, you have the ID of a legal person. eIDAS started with legal person IDs. In the first moment, we had legal IDs, which are built for being able to view by governmental agencies in all countries of Europe, but not all countries of Europe implemented the eIDAS. With the eIDAS 2 or the additional regulation, it's necessary for all European countries to implement eIDAS, and also it's possible to use the identities, the legal identities, built in eIDAS main document, main regulation. You can use these identities also for business cases, as we have seen. And then you have a legal ID. And this legal ID is complemented with natural person ID, and if you are a patient and want your data out of the hospital, not just in your country, if you have maybe a local system for getting data out of your IT infrastructure of your country, you can get with the eIDAS identity your medical data out of all hospitals and so on, medical institutions all over Europe, and should be able to retrieve the data. And on top, you should have the ability to share your data for secondary use, maybe for scientists, for doing medical research and so on. And you can also do other things. You can add your data you have maybe from smartwatches, electronic fitness devices. You can all put these data together and give these data, for example, to researchers. And eIDAS, in this case, will ensure that you have a proven identity as a patient as well as company. And it's not working?
I have to stand up.
Oh, no, it's not working. Okay. Yes, and from this point of view, if you have identities which are publicly trustworthy, you can do legal contracts. And legal contracts are the base for data economy, data as a service. If you don't have a contract for data which is legally acceptable, you will not be allowed in most cases to share data. And you can do verified data marketplaces, as you can see with Dynamo and SmartSense. It's a base to have this, to be production, not to be in a lesser trustworthy way. So I would end with this slide. So I've said many things about identities. And to add something to Pierre said, data does not flows on rainbows, I would add data flows in the speed of trust. If you don't have trust, data will not flow. If you have a simple screw, but the screw is used in an airplane, you have export control. Because this screw is usable for civil airplanes and also for military airplanes. And you are not allowed to share any data with anyone if you don't know the identity of the person which is receiving the documents about this crew, how to produce this crew. The company which is receiving the data, or the person which is receiving the data from Airbus is required to identify themselves, to comply with export control regulation. And that's why I think we should have this trust as some possibility to make business and with our data spaces. Thank you very much.
Any questions? Any remarks? If not, then I call upon the stage. I think, Pierre, you are next, aren't you? Shall I introduce you?
Yes, please.
No, you know that, of course, Pierre is focusing on all the innovative stuff, which relieves me a lot from a lot of work, because he has to deal all with the new standards, and he has to fight against other very large organizations. I'm not naming them. Maybe you can guess. Standardization committees who put forward, let's say, incompatible views with our views and European and other kind of human right views. So he has to put up with that. So thanks for your patience. And maybe you check whether it works now. Yeah, sure.
Thanks. I used to walk a lot when I do presentations, so... No. That's just I have this tendency otherwise to walk like that, to make sure. Thanks a lot. So my name is Pierre Gronlier. Today I will try to make sexy a topic which is a bit boring, standardization. And there will be 3 phases. With 3 descriptions of how I believe that's relevant for the work that we are doing, technical work that we are doing. There are 3 organizations that we are involved with, so 3 slides. It's not that long. The first one, that will be the work that we do with Sensenelec. A lot of partners working with us at Sensenelec are here today in the room. And that's to give you a quick update of what we've done so far. So I'm very pleased to inform you that most of the Gaia-X technical specifications are part now of the Sensenelec trusted data transaction. We have contributed significantly, all the entire staff, to the functional part and technical part. And now that is being done in Sensenelec, the next step will be to do that at the ISO level. Again, you will have to, as reusing your own word, be challenged by a bigger organization. And also very happy to announce that thanks to application from Christophe, we are a liaison organization for GXDCH 25. Legally speaking, we need to sign the contract. Okay. But there is no, because this is I don't have the black in man, man in black, man in black. Okay, forget the last line. Soon. Yes. So how does it relate with the work, for example, of verifiable credentials? That sounds very hard, like PDF, standardization, and how that relates. Well, oh yes, one last note before going to that. Part of that transaction, there was kind of a lock being created by some organization to prevent the use of that dual person. And I'm happy to, thanks to, you see that we had a lot of support, Gaia-X, fireware, I shared TNO, to remove that lock, and we will have to carry on that work at the ISO level next. So how does it relate to that? Part of the example, part of the specification now, we have this section about claim policy and evidence. And what are those? Well, claim policy and evidence are basically requirements that are built on the requirement extracted from verifiable credentials. So inside the specification, you will see text such as, you will need to have an identifier, an issuer identifiable. You need to have each policy claim and evidence with an identifiable object. Basically, that's the credential subject ID of your VC. So basically, we took the technical part that you use in the clearinghouse in your specification, and we transcript that back into text for the normalization. So basically, that's what I'm saying. When we have Gaia-X Trust Framework inside the standards, that's indirectly how we made it. Validity, nothing very fancy. Date time, expiration time, issuance date time, and so on. The content integrity was a very important one, so that we make sure that every time you have a claim, a policy, and evidence, if you want to be able to decentralize it or exchange that, you need to be able to verify its content, that it has not been modified. So again, the use of electronic signature here is of relevance. And I think that's all for that part. And this, those requirements are part of the claim, policy, and evidence that are at the very beginning of the standards. So basically, all the other requirements are built on top of that one. Yes, Mark, please.
Who is the issuer?
The issuer of the claim, of the evidence, all of them. Any issuer. Could be you. If, for example, you want to issue something about your consent. Yeah. If you want to issue, for example, consent for the processing purpose of your personal data, you are the only eligible issuer, in fact. So that needs to be you. Bert, please.
The evidence shall be given for validation.
Yes.
Validation or verification?
Validation here. Because the verification relies on the issuer. So validation is the likeliness. Yes, in standardization, there is these differences between a verification and a validation. But if you want to have your coffee break, you might want to stop me at some point. Different. Okay, since I'm it. Validation, you just verify that it looks like, it's the trustworthiness. The verification, it's actual verification of the content, assessment of the content. So there is one that will say, for example, I validate that it looks like valid email addresses. The verification, it's actually sending the email, waiting for the confirmation. The next standard we are working on is on the Eclipse data space working group. And here we have made a significant contribution that is being called the Eclipse Conformity Assessment Profile, CAP. And basically that enables us to have the capacity to express certification in a machine-readable way. We've talked about credential. And now, if I'm asking you, how do you validate, how do you express that, for example, your ISO certification 7001 or health or cybersecurity, how do you express that as a verifiable credentials? That's exactly what this profile enables you to do. For the standardization, we need to have 3 artifacts, the specification, which is being done. That's an ontology file. There is also a human-readable version of it, but as a turtle file, TTL or XML. The shape, that's, for example, mandating that when you issue a claim, you have an issuer, a date. That's mandatory attributes. And the reference implementation is ongoing. And it looks like that. For anyone who've seen the Gaia-X ontology, that will be based on the same framework, same type of deliverable. And then, yes, we are the version 2.13 when I made those slides this weekend. Example of enablement. Again, how does it relate? Yes, Alberto. Sure. It's within the data space, Eclipse working group. No, it's not an ISO standard yet. One day. So an example of enablement. Certification we've seen sometimes, even for the Power of Attorney. They're paper-based, PDF-based. It's requiring a lot of manual work to read them, to assess them. And expensive, and usually when you have the scope, when you read the scope, it's unclear. So here I'm going to give you an example of how we can combine Eclipse CAP with ODRL. So not as a turtle, because the last time I did that, people complained that it was too technical. So I removed all the technical part and expressed that in English today. You still have an ODRL offer, It's an object of the ODRL ontology. You have an ODRL request, and I highlighted in red, in color, sorry, yellow, green, and cyan, the different constraints that are expressed in this offer request. And at the end of this reconciliation of claim and evidence, because here you will have claim, evidence, and proof, the same thing that we have in the trusted data association, you will have a ODRL agreement, and then you will be able to move forward with your contractualization. And the request here is to find a data center within your area. So I look at the available data center near Valencia. There are a few of them. And for example, if you have someone who wants to express, I want my data to only be processed here locally in Valencia for administrative purpose, for whatever purpose you see fit for your ecosystems, well, then this is something that you can express. Good? I see that you wanted to say, no, okay. And the last one, we are also working with the OpenID Foundation. Here for the OpenID Foundation, they are making a lot of very good progress with the standardization of the OpenID for VC. OpenID Foundation is also ISO, they also have a fast track for ISO standardization. That's why the OpenID Connect is now finally in ISO standards. OpenID Connect is built on several RFC themselves, the same RFC that are used inside OpenID for VC. So all of that make it's a global mix of specification working together. The verifiable representation is probably one of the most advanced specification among the three that are within the Eclipse, the OpenID for VC working group. ID stands for implementers draft, meaning that this is already the third version that is being implemented and verified through testing interoperability testing. So usually from the feedback of the OpenID Foundation, when you reach level third one, it's very close to final. So we can expect to have a final version of the OpenID for VC, at least the verified representation part, quite soon. They have also a very interesting workshop, a new group about authority specification, and that's very much linked to the Power Fortinet that we were talking about. Turns out when you want to mix with AI, with agent, how do you delegate rights to your car? How do you delegate rights to an AI agent? Please book my tickets. If the agent booking the ticket make a mistake when they misspell your name, when they book like first class for the entire family, how do you, well, could happen maybe one day. Maybe people are doing that on purpose also. How do you get accountable, the agent accountable for that? Where is the proof that you had this consent, this right delegation? There is some right delegation that are implicit. If you ask, and that was a use case in the US, I'm not aware of that in Europe, if you ask your car to recharge itself, to go and recharge itself, yes, very futuristic, but apparently possible out there. Implicitly, you enable your car to drive on the road. If a car accident happens, what's happening? So this is a very interesting working group from the OpenID Foundation. Please, Juanro. Correct. No. It's a completely different side. You have three organizations. Yes. And I set up. DCP? It's not the same DCP. I'm not. Yeah. Basically, they use the same acronyms for two different things. So I'm explaining that one. This is the OpenID Foundation Digital Credential Protocol, which is also called DCP and has nothing to do with the Eclipse Decentralized Claim Protocol, which is called Eclipse DCP. Yes, indeed. It's the name of their working group. Sorry? It's this, no. OpenID for VC lives within the DCP working group of the OpenID Foundation.
This is why it's called protocols. They are developing several protocols all around digital.
Yeah, I probably, okay, fair. I will prefix everything by OpenID. I will prefix everything with OpenID. It's a very good feedback. Thank you, Juan. So it's a OpenID Foundation. Mark, please. I will not use the word conflict. I will use the word duplicate. Correct, yeah. Correct. The main difference... No.
Actually, that's no longer true. And they create nowadays any form of credential. But honestly, this is a completely separate discussion. I'm happy to talk. ECB versus OID will be seen, but I would suggest, and also in view of the coffee break, not in view of the networking dinner, but to take that outside.
So the slides are really up to date, as mentioned by Christophe. They should have been removed. With the hat of innovation officer, I will just trust when I see the source code. So that's why I'm still... But I haven't read it yet. Okay. So it should be there. Anyway, I will agree that this doesn't cover the entire... It's not exactly the same thing. OpenID for VC was really built with man-in-the-loop intention. So verification of the human. Which doesn't prevent automation if you want to skip the human. The other way around is way harder to implement. If you have automated everything and not planned for human interaction from the beginning, adding human in the loop later is much harder. So this is why the selection of Gaia-X was for OpenID for VC. And I'm going in the wrong way. So we've seen this one, Eclipse, OpenID, the example, OpenID Foundation. The authority specification. The benefit also of the OpenID Foundation, they have years of existence with the use of RFC. They have security audit about their workflow. The entire 3 set of protocols here are going through formal mathematical proof by the Stanford Stuttgart University in terms of security. So you know exactly if there is a leak potential. They are way more invested and experienced in building protocols for exchange credential than anyone else I know about. I mean, 2 days, if you go home, most likely you are going to use OpenID for VC, OpenID for Connect, or protocol build around that. So yeah, definitely from Gaia-X point of view, the safest choice. And we kind of cover with that man in the loop, capacity to have the authority to act. And this is definitely something interesting to see within the context of OpenID for VC, because basically that's being built by the same group of people who talk to each other. So we can expect, for example, this right delegation to be later compatible with OpenID for VC natively, which will be required. And that's the last slide. Which will be required to have really an ecosystem at scale. And for many of the ecosystem that we have today, health, you need to have the consent of the patient. Skills, when you ask, for example, an example that was given to me by EDF, French electricity provider, producer. They are building nuclear stations. If they want to allow someone to enter within the area just to cut the trees, they need to verify the accreditation of the guy who will go and cut the trees. And this is not an accreditation that is given to the company, it's an accreditation which is given to a human. The people who will weld iron and steel, that's again a qualification on the human, not an organization. So we cannot remove human, totally remove human from all those use cases. For trusted data transaction, at some point down the line, when all the right delegation have been given, yes, machine to machine, obviously you want to automate that. But at the beginning, to establish this trust relation, eIDAS, and human. And that will be my last presentation, last slide before the coffee break. Thank you very much.
Yeah, many thanks for that in-depth dive. It's not just a wrap-up. Yeah, for the sake of the coffee break, I would rather stop the presentations right now. So that, yeah, and so that would mean that we have 2 conceptual presentations after the coffee break. The coffee break will end at 4:30, so 4:30. So please be there, because Klaus and I will talk a little bit about the new conceptual model. So if it took you some time to understand what trust anchors are, we have replaced them with trust service provider, and we will explain to you why that happens, and other kind of shenanigans we did in the new architecture document. So Klaus and I are doing that, and afterwards we have a nice exposition rounding up the conceptual model with the data spaces specification language. Maybe that's for Gaia-X 3.0 at 4:30, unless there are any questions from the audience. I would then leave you with one request. Stefan has asked me to ask you whether you have any working LOA credential, you know, service credential, LOA credential, because it would be awesome if some of you would look up your credential store. Maybe you would want to share them with the community, because that's certainly because of the complexity. You know, they have I don't know, 57 credential inside. So maybe if some of you have a LOA credential and you have not shared that yet, so please, everyone would be delighted. And maybe you get something. You know, I promised to give to the 2 first evangelists a bottle of champagne. You have to be tomorrow at the stage at 1 floor up to see who these were. So maybe if someone has a really nice credential, you also earn something, but I won't promise yet. So with that, any further questions? Because I would then leave you, dismiss you, like in the army, to the coffee break. And please be back at 4:30 if you want to know what's in the new architecture document, especially the theoretical part. Thanks for the discussion, very much appreciated. Have a nice coffee break. Thanks.